soil. "What are you doing?" Without turning, she moved aside for me to see the object in the ground. Striking up toward the sky was a tiny sapling bursting out of the soil. "One day," she said, "this tree will be tall and strong. We need never be poor, hungry, or sad again, as long as we take care of this tree." I said, "That's silly. Money doesn't grow on trees." She laughed, a dainty, delicate laugh that caught in the breeze and drifted away over the garden boundary. She said, "But of course it does." I cried out as she turned toward me. Framed within wispy, golden curtains of hair was a perfect, featureless dome. The woman had no face. "Ah!" My shock woke me. The sides of the tent rippled in the morning breeze. With a feeling of dread, I remembered where I was. I half ran, half stumbled to the railway station. The monkey-suited railway guard sat inside. "How much for a ticket home?" I asked him, bounding up the steps.
"Trains are free,"
he replied with a feigned air of sagacity.
"All day, every day."
"Good job," I said, turning out my empty pockets as a joke. "Money doesn't grow on trees, eh?" He said nothing. I gave a nervous cough, asking, "When is the next one? Can you let me onto the platform?"
"The next train should be arriving any minute now."
He extended a hand.
"If I could just see your town pass card."
"Town pass card?" I said, becoming angry. It felt to me like another trick to keep me here. He pointed a laconic leathery finger in the direction of the station door.
"Go see Isabel in the town hall. She'll have it."
I gasped in frustration, about to challenge this officious gatekeeper of my freedom. But at that moment, I felt a soft rumble underfoot. There was a train coming. The platform barrier wasn't high. I reckoned I could be over it and through the train doors in little time. It was risky, but better than a confrontation with Isabel. She was at the heart of the strangeness here. My pulse quickened as I saw the cyclopean headlight grow larger. I tensed, ready to leap for my escape. To my horror, the train whizzed by. It rushed through the station with barely a break in its terrific pace. For a moment, although later I couldn't swear I hadn't imagined it, I thought I saw a person on the train. Slumped in a seat, unconscious, a cat-like figure was watching them from across the aisle. Before I could see clearly, the train roared away into the distance. "It didn't stop!" I shouted, turning to the guard in frustration. "Why didn't it stop?" The guard shrugged.
"I guess that wasn't your train."
Anger burned in my eyes as I trudged back to the town hall. Without knocking, I pushed open the door and marched inside. Isabel was sitting behind her desk, smiling jovially.
"So,"
she inquired, either ignoring or oblivious to my mood.
"did you find the perfect spot to call home?"
I grunted in reply.
"I'm very happy to hear that. You're in temporary housing for now, right? I do hope your house is completed soon. Living in a tent can be very tiring."
Isabel had my file open on the town hall counter again.
"Please, take this,"
she said, producing a small card from the file.
"This is your very own town pass card."
I stared. This seemed too easy. I had anticipated elaborate demands from Isabel in return for the precious card. Just like that.
"It's all yours. With that, you can visit other towns."
"I can leave?" I exclaimed. Isabel looked at me as if I had said something odd.
"Of course you can leave. Why, you aren't a prisoner."
I gripped the card tightly. This was my lifeline, my ticket out. As I made to leave, Isabel said,
"One more item, Mr. King. Would you participate in a ceremony to commemorate your arrival? We'd like for you to plant a tree."
A tree? A feeling of sick dread came as my dream flooded back.
"It should be a very memorable experience."
She studied my face. Had she expected a reaction? "What, now?" I asked, my heart beating faster and faster.
"It would be best."
Her gaze shifted to where I was grasping the card.
"In any case, you'll need a photo on that card before you can use the train. There's a booth in town. It's only 500 bells."
My head swam and I could feel my pulse in my ears. "Bells?" I asked, fighting the nausea.
Everything costs money, Mr. King. Don't they have money where you come from?
I see. I'm not sure I have any...
Oh, you'll have some bells in no time, I'm sure. Even if you don't, you can always shake a tree.
I shook my head, as much to fight the dizziness as in defiance. "That's silly. Money doesn't grow on trees." Isabel regarded me with a confused look, then laughed.
But of course